Well, this is going to be one of the stories we are tracking for you very closely here on Times Now. But for the time being, let's move on and tell you about the attack after attack in Jammu and Kashmir. First it was Gulmarg, then it was Pulwama, and now you have Potapari. 3 attacks in 1 week. Well, the terror has clearly gripped Jammu and Kashmir once again. There have been 4 attacks in the Union Territory within a week, targeting non-locals as well as the security personnel. In fact, in the latest incident, which has occurred on Thursday, when terrorists opened fire on an army vehicle in Gulmarg, 2 of the soldiers, 2 civilian porters working with the army were all killed in a terror attack near the LOC. In fact, our colleague Sohail brings us this ground report. Watch it.
Anti-terror operation is underway in Bhuta Patri area of North Kashmir's Baramulla. This operation was initiated after a terror attack took place in the region. Terrorists ambushed an army vehicle, and as a result of which 2 army jawans were killed in action. 2 others, 2 porters have also in fact lost their lives. 3 army jawans are critically injured and availing treatment at Army's base hospital in Srinagar. While the anti-terror operation is underway, the security forces, Jammu and Kashmir Police and CRPF deployed on the Gulmarg, in fact Srinagar road, have intensified the frisking of vehicles. The Jammu and Kashmir Police Jawans are checking every single vehicle that basically goes to Gulmarg, and in fact it's just about 12 kilometers from here, and security agencies are carrying out this frisking operation here on Srinagar Baramulla road in Gulmarg. You can see Jammu and Kashmir Police, the special operation group of Jammu and Kashmir Police is deployed here. The anti-terror operation is being carried out jointly by Indian Army and Jammu and Kashmir Police. CRPF is also maintaining the outer cordon. The terror attack that took place in Bhuta Patri area, in fact late last evening, is just around 14 kilometers away from the line of control. We are being told by the sources that the distance between the terror attack spot and the line of control is 14 kilometers. Area is also connected to Rajouri and Poonch area. So after investigations, it will really come out that whether these terrorists had infiltrated from Gulmarg side, or they had come from Rajouri, Poonch and carried out this attack. But because previously we had seen these terror groups carrying out such attacks in Rajouri and Poonch, the situation is in fact alarming, given the fact that LG Manoj Sinha chaired a high-level security meeting yesterday in the Raj Bhavan and passed on strict directions to security agencies.
Well, let me go across to Yavar as well as Sahil Suhair, our reporters who are joining us from the ground. Yavar, it's important for us to understand, is there any reason why there has been such a spike in terror activities, 3 strikes in the past 1 week alone?
Well, exactly. If we talk about these attacks, since the onset of winters, the militants are trying hard to infiltrate into this site, and because the militants are trying to show their presence at that particular places, which has been relatively and comparatively more peaceful. That's the Gulmarg, which has seen no militant activities in the past as well. In fact, the intelligence has also suggested that this could be the reason that the militants, they came from the Pir Panchal and they want to settle down at that locations which are comparatively, very large and very calmful. So this is the reason in the Gulmarg, so as in the Gulmarg, we saw these attacks being carried out. Since the area is lying close to the line of control, so the security forces are investigating that whether this was an infiltration attempt that was done by the militants in order to sneak into the Indian territory from the Poonch Rajouri side, or it was an earlier infiltration. So all the things will be come up in the investigation. Rather, the first priority for the security forces is to ensure that there will be the strong coordinated search operation around the places, since this is a meadow, this is a tourist destination, so all the precautions have been put into consideration before the security forces can inch upwards. So as I'm speaking to you, though the security have been elaboratively taken into the consideration, and that time the attack is significant because yesterday there was a unified command meeting that was chaired by the Lieutenant Governor Manoj Sinha, in which the orders were passed to crush down the militancy and OGW networks in the Kashmir Valley. Somehow in the late evening we saw that the army vehicle was attacked, in which the 4 casualties were inflicted. One more casualty is there. For that, the official confirmation is still awaited to this matter. But yes, this has been the scene all across. 4 attacks in 10 days has somewhere raised a concern. That's what the Omar Abdullah, the Chief Minister of the Union Territory, also said, that the spate of attacks have somewhere raised the concern. Back to you.
Well, you're absolutely right. In fact, you mentioned, Omar Abdullah, what exactly it is that the NC is saying. Well, listen in to Farooq Abdullah as he speaks exclusively to Times Now. The NCMA Supremo speaks on the terror attacks which have happened, reiterates that there can be no talks with Pakistan as long as terror continues to emanate from their soil. Watch this.
Sir, first of all, an unfortunate thing has happened yesterday. Your first reaction?
What do you think my reaction should be? I've been seeing this since 1984. We have been seeing this happening. Innocent people being killed. For what? We're not going to become part of Pakistan by these things. Then why don't they leave us alone? So that we can progress. We can move forward. Our poverty can disappear. Our hospitals will improve, our schools will improve, our colleges will improve. Condition of our people will improve. This drug menace can disappear. I appeal to them. Please stop this. Otherwise the consequences of this will be very dangerous for this area. The entire situation will disappear again and you will have a major war on your hands. And all the progress that the countries have made will disappear in seconds. So stop before that happens.
The Prime Minister also said that there will be no talks with the Pakistan because they continue bloodshed.
Is the Malik of the state, country. It's for him to decide what he wants to do. And why should he have talks? When innocent people are dying, and that nation is behind them, how can they talk? I was myself in favor of talks. That talks should take place. But it's not going to happen. The atmosphere has to be made conducive for that to take place. The atmosphere is not conducive.
So the situation is not conducive in Jammu and Kashmir at all because in last 10 days...
It is not conducive. The question is, we are facing terrorism. And the world is now facing terrorism everywhere. You see Turkey yesterday. Terrorism has to be fought on international level now.
Well, let me go across to Sahil Sohail. Sahil, it's quite interesting to see how Farooq Abdullah now, ever since, of course, NC came to power, has been saying there cannot be any talks when there is terror emanating from the soil of Pakistan. Interestingly, his own son Omar Abdullah had once famously said that Burhan Wani, a dreaded terrorist, a wanted terrorist when he was shot dead, Omar Abdullah had said that Burhan Wani is an icon of disaffected society. But today, the stance seems to have changed.
Well, politicians in Jammu and Kashmir are known for making these statements and taking U-turns. After the abrogation of Article 370, it was National Conference President Dr. Farooq Abdullah was time and again demanding that talks should be held with Pakistan and the issue, what they called issue, should be resolved. Now, after winning election and coming on the hot seat, National Conference has apparently changed its position. And National Conference President Dr. Farooq Abdullah making this statement that there will be no talks until there is terrorism. Talks and terrorism cannot go together. This is the stated policy of Government of India. Here at this spot, the anti-terror operation is underway. This also reflects in Government of India's clear stand when it comes to talks. But Farooq Abdullah making this statement only after they came into power, because they know for governance they have to build bridges. That's why Omar Abdullah is in New Delhi meeting Prime Minister Narendra Modi and union ministers and in fact MPs of Bharatiya Janata Party. After they came into power, they have in fact changed their stances on critical issues, and one among them is terrorism or Pakistan. In fact, now Farooq Abdullah making this statement that there will be no talks with Pakistan unless they stop this terrorism. But on ground zero, we see security forces in fact chasing these terrorists and terror groups. After 2019, security forces had achieved major success in crushing militancy. At this moment, we have figures and in fact sources, intelligence sources also telling us that the base support for militants in Kashmir has completely disappeared. That's why there is a big shift in militancy, and in past we have seen these highly trained Pakistani terrorists taking shelter in Rajouri and Poonch in dense forest areas and carrying out these attacks. This is the same case here in Bhuta Patri area of Baramulla, because the area where this attack took place, where these terrorists ambushed an army vehicle, is a forest area, is close to line of control, and it's very clear that these terrorists had come from Pakistan occupied Kashmir or had come from Rajouri Poonch area, where they are operating from last many months. In fact, from last 2 years, they are active and carrying out these precise or these terror incidents. But then security forces are in fact taking charge and in fact ensuring that counter-insurgency operations are conducted. This is the direction that has come from LG Manoj Sinha yesterday as well, that security forces should coordinate and in fact conduct precise counter-insurgency operations, and one such anti-terror operation is underway here in Bhuta Patri area.
One such anti-terror operation right behind Sahil Suhail is taking place even as we spoke to him. He's getting us minute-by-minute updates from the ground. Meanwhile, PDP chief who has been continuously demanding talks with Pakistan, Mehbooba Mufti, this time around she has put out a word of condemnation but has shied away from naming Pakistan in her tweet. Let me go across to Amita. Amita, what has she said?
Well, some political leaders have actually changed their stand when it comes to Pakistan. Others continue to be on that. However, doesn't name the rogue country when they actually extend condolences over the recent terror attack. This is yesterday's post that she had put out of the former Chief Minister of erstwhile state of Jammu and Kashmir, saying shocked and deeply saddened by the militant attack on the army convoy in Baramulla in which civilian porter has been killed. Condemn it, unequivocally pray for the swift recovery of the injured soldiers. That's all. That's the only condolence that has been extended on social media. Nowhere Pakistan, or even when it comes to the terror activities that it has continued in the last 8 days, have found a mention in her post.
We'll keep tracking the developments on that front. Thank you so much for joining us with all the details, Amita, but also Suhail as well as Yavar for getting us those ground reports. We are going to be continuing to get you all those details coming in, but for the timing, a short break. Don't go anywhere.